Next, Mary Cantu. And did you know that as a child, Mary Cantu dreamed of being Indiana Jones? She is a native San Antonian, worked in arts, education, culture here for more than 10 years, but before that she earned her bachelor's degree in museum education with a focus on cultural anthropology and elementary education from Mount Holyoke. There, you have to say it that way. And then she got her master's in art education from UT Austin, worked the focus on community-based art. And in 2013, she became a National Reuse Alliance Master Reuser, the first in San Antonio. And when I saw the word, I thought it was Reuser. It's R-E-U-S-E-R, but she's the founder of Spare Parts, dedicated to cultural and environmental sustainability. It all connects different agencies and businesses, which would otherwise stuff that'll be thrown away for the artistic community. Her vision is to transform Spare Parts from a volunteer effort into a full-time organization. Please give it up for the first Master Reuser of San Antonio, Mary Cantu.
It's an honor to be here. About 4 years ago, I got my dream job. It was an arts education advocacy position. Who better to be given this honor? I'm a product of our public schools, a girl, first red shirt on your left with a violin, who was introduced to all of the arts thanks to her city, school, and her family. I was tasked with supporting the arts in our schools at the exact moment when Texas lawmakers were slashing education funding, and we all know when this happens, our most enriching and life-changing programs are cut, including the arts. Here's our school choir performing. I'm in the front with the cheesiest smile. Now, who could forget this play when teachers dressed us up in construction paper and paper bag costumes as we performed a probably not so accurate reenactment of the first Thanksgiving? Teachers often spend their own monies to provide additional supplies and materials for instruction. And when school couldn't offer dance, I was enrolled in San Antonio Parks and Rec ballet classes. In a nutshell, this job I had was meant for me. The earlier we introduce our kids to the arts, we can create more artists, thespians, dancers, patrons, concert goers, and produce sellout performers. Now, I'm a San Antonio born, but I have roots in the woods of Wisconsin. One summer, my mom commissioned my sister and me to create a mural on the side of Grandpa's workshop. This is where I was also introduced to conserving resources where my family repaired, reused, and composted. Virtually nothing was thrown away. Here you see plastic bags drying on the clothesline, an example of reuse. Summers for us were spent outside painting that darn mural and using our imagination and creativity to play because TV wasn't allowed, and if we were always bored, we could always pick potato bugs. But did I mention this job I had no budget for art supplies? The solution: sustain the arts through creatively reusing what businesses and others had new use for and repurposing them for exciting learning experiences. As soon as this idea came together, the budget-cutting bug bit me too, and I lost my job. I proposed to my family, who would help me pay rent until I found work, and to the arts community, that this was an easy, environmentally smart way to sustain creativity. That summer, teachers from almost every school district in the city were recipients of materials that would have otherwise been thrown away. And Spare Parts was founded. The second giveaway took place in an art gallery who let me the space. A context where discarded materials like this are usually never found. With a team of interns and volunteers, we took in donations while educating the public about the environmental benefits of creative reuse. Now, when donations come in, we never know what to expect, and it needs to be sorted. For example, conferences leave valuable leftovers that can be reused. Here's a volunteer wearing a cowboy hat from a conference. We received a stack of them that summer. That hat continues to live on in a classroom. This beehive without the bees was found in someone's backyard. It was carefully packaged and brought to us. Imagine a class learning about bee colonies while examining an actual hive, not just from a picture in a book. A geometry lesson in tessellations comes alive when it's seen firsthand. Silk flowers provide inspiration for the creation of springtime bulletin boards and poetry. They are used to make crowns in plays like A Midsummer Night's Dream, and students can learn about the different parts and the pollination cycle of flowers. But why reuse? Reuse, like recycling, keeps stuff out of dumps. But reuse creates less pollution, it provides materials usually of excellent quality, and it strengthens divergent thinking, a thought process that generates multiple solutions to a problem. We call this creative thinking. Here, teachers filled the halls of a mall to collect supplies from spare parts for free. We still remain a volunteer-run project. I'm now a master reuse, and my vision is that spare parts becomes a full-time organization. I receive emails daily from people who want to donate materials and from schools and artists who need them. Now, the giveaway experience is quite one of an experience, and this picture captures the day's energy. Some describe it as the running of the bulls, Black Friday, or a fun, free shopping spree. Over 10,000 of our pre-K through 12th grade students annually benefit from spare parts. I refuse to let creativity and the arts slip from our schools because of lack of resources. My goal is to create sustainable models for dynamic learning and teach our community the environmental and monetary benefits of reuse. Here's a teacher writing a lesson plan that was compiled into a larger resource. Now, did you know that you can reactivate dried up ink and markers by placing them in water to create watercolors? In this art class, we cut up the empty marker shells into large beads to make jump ropes after making paint. Art and PE lessons like this one are win-win learning experiences. Here's a high school art installation made from 100% spare parts. We hear so much about how the arts can and should transform a community, but I believe this is a symbiotic relationship. The community and its resources can and should equally inspire and transform the arts. And this is just one example. I'm as excited as Karina about the possibilities of creative reuse and rethinking the way we use and interact with the stuff around us. In a recent workshop, participants learned that electronics aren't 100% recyclable and e-waste is a big problem. Finally, this is my most favorite quote by artist Aaron Kramer. Trash is failure of the imagination. And this young artist couldn't have written it better. Thank you.
All right, and now the embarrassing personal questions. First of all, how did you get from Mount Holyoke and UT Austin with a master's into spare parts?
Well, I'm like I mentioned in the presentation, I've been introduced to the arts. I'm from San Antonio, and I knew that I wanted to give back to my community after going to school. And after losing my job due to funding, I could have taken it as a negative experience, but I decided that I wasn't going to let budget cuts and my passion stop and turn that into a positive experience and create spare parts.
All right, and